Good afternoon, everybody. It's great to be back with you guys today. My name is Fred Christian. I'm a disabled community activist from Miami Gardens, Florida. I have the social media organization #Impact on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And today I'm going to read you a special poem. I do all kind of things on my site. I do art with blogs. I do memes. I do all kind of activism because I'm disabled and I can't always get to everywhere. And I want to make sure the message gets out because there's a lot of things going on in this world. And we'll go to the story of this right now. I can remember being about 16, 18 years old, watching Comic Relief with Robin Williams and the late Robin Williams and Whoopi Goldberg and Billy Crystal. And they read this poem. The reason they read this poem was to shed light on the AIDS epidemic at the time because people were not acting compassionately towards those with it. This poem was written and it's called Then They Came For Me. It was written right after World War II about the Holocaust and the mindset of indifference and inhumanity that had plagued Europe because no one spoke out in time and the Holocaust happened. And millions of people died, which was the worst human rights tragedy ever in the history of the world. So, we're going to fast forward here and read this poem, and I want you to think about it, then we're going to have a discussion about it. Then they came for me. First they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out, because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the unionists, and I did not speak out, because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out, because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me. The author was Martin Niemoller. He was born in 1892, and he died in 1984. I have a virtual copy of this poem. If anybody wants to see it, I will be happy to message to anyone who wants to read it. This poem, I hope it moves everybody. If you think about what Niemoller was saying, because he was one of those complicit in the Holocaust and World War II, he kept quiet. He quietly did what he did, and he kept quiet, which was wrong. And his guilt led him to write this poem, from what I understand. But the poem stands the test of time, like I hope mine did, which is how many that I wrote about gun violence. But Then They Came For Me is about using your voice. It's about speaking up about injustice. Too many are still silent on injustices. Too many are too silent. We still have, unfortunately, African-American young men getting beaten up by the police, getting beaten up. Look at the young man on the subway in New York City who got a chokehold on him, which was horrific. Look at that. And really. Nobody said anything. Nobody said to that guy, hey, stop. Or, and I'm going to get his name right now. Let me just go to my gallery. Excuse me a minute. Yes, Jordan Neely. On the subway in New York. Back to Jordan Neely, which was his name. Yes. If people would have spoke up, Jordan Neely might have been alive. If people would have stopped that guy, Jordan Neely might have been alive. If someone would have said, no, this is wrong, wait for the police, Jordan Neely might have been alive. This is what they're talking about in the poem. If people don't say anything, nothing's going to get solved, folks. We got to lift our voices. You can't just depend on the same 4 or 5 people or the major national figures or even your TV stations to do it for you. You've got to be the voice and say things and not be so complicit in stuff. Think about it. We had 1/6 happen and nobody said anything. We had all kind of other crazy. Well, I shouldn't say nobody said anything. I apologize on that. We had 1/6 happen, and if people would have said, "Don't do this. This is wrong," lives would have been saved. So nobody did say anything, and people went ahead and did this evil act, which caused policemen to get hurt and caused an act of terror against our nation. If people don't start speaking up and seeing things and saying something, like Niemoller said in the poem, we're going to continue to have gun violence and more deaths and more unhappy people and unhappy families. Think about this. No one was left to speak for him, like he said, because he didn't speak up. Everybody was gone. Everybody was harassed. Think about this. Florida, where I live, we got a governor who's against everything and everybody. Disney World, big business, anything he doesn't agree with, he doesn't like, you're scum to him. And that's my opinion now, but I'm sticking with it. And, look at DeSantis with this. Somebody's got to stand up to him and say no enough, because this is what's coming in Florida with the affordable housing, which I tagged in this video. They're passing a law, or they've already passed a law, where landlords can do whatever they want. They can raise your rent in the middle of a lease, again, which we had legal protections in Miami-Dade County to stop, but unfortunately we may not be able to anymore. They will be able to not fulfill maintenance requests. They'll be able to you'll be able to legally keep your security deposit when you leave an apartment. I mean, come on. People are struggling, and there's no recourse for rent control or anything in our state. We have people struggling as it is, working 2 and 3 jobs to pay rent, living in some places that are just awful and substandard just because they're poor. The poor punishing has got to stop. Again, I'm using my voice today, like Niemoller said, to speak late on this. More people need to. In the poem, then they came for me. Then we get to the gun violence. Question: how many of you are really sick of this? How many of you are really sick and tired of this? How many of you just don't want to deal with this anymore and are tired of turning on your news and every day a child gets shot, a school gets shot up, a restaurant gets shot up, a store gets shot up, a grocery store gets shot up, a mall gets shot up? How many times, people? As I said in my poem, How many times must we say goodbye when someone we love dies? Too many tears, too many fears, too few years. How many more will rise up and say enough before our future dies, before it begins? Questions on this. Again, like Niemoller said, nobody who will speak for me. I'm asking you, how many? Really, folks, we got to do better for our families, like my friend Letha Cheryl Bush, who lost her son to gun violence. Jack Brown III, my friend Tracy Brown, who lost her son Louis Leon Jr. to gun violence. Tangela Sears, who lost her son to gun violence. Tracy Lyons, who lost her son Tracy Lyons, who lost her son Marlon Goodluck to gun violence. And also we got other people like Sharita Small, who lost her son, Samari Lewis Pierre to gun violence, and Amaros Butler, who's still waiting for the killer of her son Mendel Butler to be found. Also, Tracy and Letha are waiting for the killers to be found of their children. So see something, say something. Anybody in the Miami-Dade area or Florida knows something, please contact Crime Stoppers. Don't let these moms go through this again. So, again, like Niemoller said, I'm not going to sit in silence. I'm going to see something and say something. And that's what we all have to do. We all have to see something and say something and start to step up on the wrongs, or we're going to have more Jordan Neelys, more shootings, and more bad stuff happening, and our rents are going to go up. We cannot continue to sit on our hands. We've got to continue to fight for our communities, fight for our states, and fight for our dignity and rights. If we don't, we're going to be bulldozed. So that's your choice. You either do like Niemoller said in the poem, and you speak up, or you don't speak up, and you get bad results. So I want to thank you all today for this short video. And I want to thank everybody who's watching. And I want to give a short message and a shout out to somebody. I got to put a bracelet on. For this bracelet I'm going to put on. Susan, God bless you. Keep fighting. Bullets for Life bracelet. Putting it on right now. I'm going to close with this one saying that this lady said. I'm going to close this one with them. A second here. Okay. Donate a bullet, save a life, people. Donate a bullet, save a life. Make sure you donate a bullet and save a life rather than put that bullet into someone. The Bullets for Life organization could use some support too, and I'm promoting them today. I also want to thank my friend Tawana Akins, who lost several people to gun violence too, in her own family, including her little grandnephew, King Carter, who died, a 7-year-old child, walking to the store to buy candy and was gunned down in a beef in Miami by 2 people by an errant bullet. In addition to him, there was Jada Page, a small child gunned down by an errant bullet, Elijah LaFrance, Chastity Saunders, and Alana Washington, all gunned down by gun violence before the age of 8 years old. Why are we doing this, people? Why are we not speaking out and telling the truth and saying who did this, why they did it, going after them, getting justice for these kids? Because that, again, the poem. Think about it. Nobody speaks for you. What are you going to do? Thank you all, and God bless.